Welcome back to the Stanford Cardinal Dynasty, where today we play our first home game of Season 2 as the FCS Southeast Pandas come to town. Now we are coming off an overtime win in Week 0, 35-28 in Hawaii, where we saw Ashton Daniels put together arguably his best game we've seen. 2 touchdowns, just about 300 yards, but 83, nearly 84% completion. On top of that, the rushing game also did well. Cedric Irvin, 92 yards, averaging over 5 yards a carry, and the freshman in Bartow really showed some nice pop. 2 rushing touchdowns in that game in total. Where the team is still looking to figure their stuff out offensively is with the receiver group. The ball was really spread out. No one shined as being that true number 1 target. But who did shine is the captain in Tafiti. He was the player of the week for the defensive side, both nationally and in the Big 12. 3 TFLs, 2 sacks, and he had a pick. Though arguably, you could say that Ramos should have been in that category as well. 2 interceptions, one of which gave us an opportunity to win the game in regulation, and the one that sealed it. But the worst part of our game was kicking. The freshman kicker, Javier Chicolo, missed all 3 of his attempts at field goals, though he was 100% from the line. Well, let's see what Coach Barrington has in store for us as the Cardinals try to start their season 2-0 as we are underway. Flitoff with the boot. And they will be returning it, and a dead shot from Matt Rose. He'll have a Wingate Wilson and the not-so UGF Pandas starting deep at the 13 as they start with a run and immediately a tackle in the backfield by Parker. He made a couple big plays last week, expecting a lot here from the young starters. I mean, really, so many redshirt freshmen and sophomores out there for this Cardinal team. In fact, there are very few juniors and seniors. With a 3rd and 2, though, would love to pick up a stop here as they go with a run, trying to stretch it to the outside, slipping 2 tackles, and picking up the first near the 30. We saw a little bit of poor tackling, poor angles last week 2 weeks ago in Hawaii, as an early injury here. One of the offensive linemen here for the Pandas. Hopefully he ends up being okay, but for now he will head off the field, leaving his team with a 2nd and 7 as they go back to the running game, and they're doing fairly decent at it. End up picking up another 2, leaving 3rd and 5 with a tight shotgun look here. They will go with some play action and pass rush down the middle. It is Zach Rowell standing over the top. Maybe he's trying to help up the quarterback. I doubt it though. But a sack will force the punt. It's a great start here as the senior leader on defense helps make a play, giving the ball over to our offense. And it's a group that did put up a good amount of points last game. 35. Expect, honestly, a lot more here against a weaker foe as Irvin gets stuck in the middle. It's a no gain. Can't have that happening too often in front of a sold-out crowd. Couldn't remember the last time we saw that in our first season. For being honest, it was probably in the first handful of games. But a 3rd and 2 here. Daniels with a hard count, no 1 jumps. As they bring the pressure, he's going to roll to the left, try to settle the feet, and it gets picked off. He threw it behind Bachmeier, who had all the space to the outside. After a clean game in Week 0, already a bad throw here from our senior at quarterback. Pandas take back over plus territory as they go down the middle. Rowell gets the stop. They are very much liking the plays down the middle. 44 Kelly is actually listed at fullback, though he's taken a few handoffs already. And a shot downfield is jarred free by the safety tandem. Of course, we have 1 new starter at safety this year in camp. He was rocking a number in the 40s. Don't exactly remember which, as they set up the halfback screen, and slowing him down was 35. Will eventually get him down, leaving a 4th and 7 field goal attempt here. This one about a 53-yarder. And why can't we kick like that? Well, it ends up being an early lead here for the Pandas. They capitalize off the turnover. Daniels and the offense back out there. They start with a jet sweep to Noah Short, who will pick up the first down, still slipping some tackles, make it a gain of around 15. He was one of the most impressive of the receivers last week, just rock steady throughout, made several big plays. As we got to drift back at this one to the freshman in draft, who's going to lose two. Well, arguably, that's still a better play than what it could have been if Daniels kept rolling as he normally does. Hand this one off, Irvin, and stuffed. Panda front seven coming to play so far, not allowing us to bully them around. Third and long as they bring the blitz. We get it to the outside in Johnson, who will utilize that speed as he gets the juke on the safety. Another injured Panda out there at the end of the play. They've already had two guys have to leave the field, both on the lines, one offensively, one defensively. RPO here and read beautifully by Fulmer. Both the other DBs crashed down on it. Unfortunately for us, he did not. Daniels making a change at the line here for 2nd and 10. As they bring the blitz, it's thrown right at 30. Luckily for us, it's off his chest, and we've got a 3rd and 10. With 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Daniels hard count, no one jumps. Trying to get some of those free yards. As he rolls, sets his feet, finds Bachmeier this time. It will get us down to the 12. Still has to work on getting the ball out in front of his receiver, though that time wasn't as bad as the prior drive. Play action rollout, and looking for the tight end. Johnson gets the grab in tight coverage. The transfer sophomore tight end gets us on the board, and we take the lead, and Paolo Alto. That caps off a great comeback drive, one we were really needing after how that first one ended. With about time for one more play here this quarter, it's a tackle in the backfield, a flag down as well. I was honestly hoping that was going to be a fumble. We call holding, but we will end up declining. Make it 2nd and 15 as they do get the ball off right before the end of the quarter, trying to bite the ankles, sending us to the break. It's 7-3, and the Pandas will have a 3rd and 13 to get the second quarter underway. As they got 3 options to the right-hand side, they will look to pass, dumping this one off for their fullback, who will pick up about a gain of 9, but still will have to punt. So far, defense doing pretty well. We just need to see a little bit more dominance here from the offense. As we start at the 37, it's a weak side run, and Irvin spins off of 1, but is not going to break 0. If we can't find a way to run against an FCS school, then how are we going to run against any of our top opponents this year? Got to get that going, as Irvin down the middle will pick up another little bit, and now Spencer, the 0 here for the Pandas, is shaken up. It's been about 1 per possession for the Panda. I sure hope they've got a deep roster. 3rd and 7. Play action here for Daniels, who's got to get on the move as he finds Johnson, a perfect late release. And after seeing very little tight end usage in week 0, already a good handful of passes going way of Johnson. To continue with the roll game, taking a shot downfield and getting picked off on top of Borden, just got lit up. It's 2 interceptions on the day for Daniels. I guess much better to try to test things out, risk those picks against an FCS school rather than one of the FBS schools. As Pandas take back over on offense, they hand it back off to their fullback, who gains 2. And as long as our defensive lineman, honestly just front 7, comes to play, we should be pretty good. As transfer Keanu gets the stop. Their first time we've really seen a play there from big number 57. Leaving a 3rd and 9 here for the Pandas. As they will dump this one off to the outside, and a burst of speed there from 18 will pick up the first. That is Jalen Parrish Jr., and wow, he's got a lot of speed to his game. 1st and 10, trying to get it to the outside, chopping out the legs is Stevenson. He's another one of those freshmen getting some starting time this year, redshirt freshman. 2nd and 13 as they look to pass, and I'm not sure if that was a drop or if it got tipped on its way to Parrish. Either way, it does bring up a 3rd and 13, another opportunity to get off the field. as Wingate Wilson will look to pass. He's got a couple different options, though it's a sack from Tafiti. He's back again, a sack in each game to start his season. With 3:16 left, I'm sure Stanford would like to score more than just once this first half. As they start with a run, it's Irvin gaining about one. The run 7 just being stout here for the Pandas. 2nd and 9, they go to the pistol. And Daniels trying to dance around in the pocket. Eventually will tuck and run, sliding down. And now Alvin Spencer shaken up. If I'm not mistaken, he was also shaken up on their last drive. So he at least bounced back for a play or two. 3rd and inches as they don't give us the first down. We'll go out too short. We'll get it done. With that fresh set, an empty look here. Daniels, as he goes to the outside here, he will find 23 in Rotten. That's the first catch for him on the season. He picks up 5 and heads back to the sideline with a 2nd and 5 here, 2-minute warning. Trying to stretch the field. Daniels will just take the ground game then, scrambling to around the 45. And yet again, Spencer down on the ground after. I think his day should be done. He just can't seem to stay on out there. As they bring the pressure, Daniels got rid of it. It is not a fumble, but also that's way too much pressure right down the middle. 2nd and 10. Got Borden in a slight motion. Quick flip this one out to Dawkins for a minimal gain. They've tried to get that freshman fullback involved a little bit. Haven't seen quite any big plays from him yet. 3rd and 8 now. As they're downfield trying to find a narrow window, tipped away. But Coach Barrington is keeping the offense out there. It's 4th and 8, not necessarily a small down in distance, as it is out and dropped by Bachmeier. It's a turnover on downs. Coach said they were going to try to use this game to figure things out in the passing game, and well, they definitely are trying to do that. Pandas take over, trying to set up the screen. He gets well in front of his block, so he slips the tackle and picks up 12. Well, we definitely have a lot of young guys out there. I expect a little bit of some better tackling. As Tafiti not getting another sack. It was definitely close. Hit in on Wingate Wilson, who got rid of it. 2nd and 10. As it's a pass to their tight end, knocked away. Once again, leaves them with a 3rd and long. Probably the reason that Coach Barrington felt like he could go for it there on 4th. With a check down pass, a penalty also down. But it's gonna be a free first down. Tafiti just got a little bit too antsy there. Really wanted that sack. 1st and 10 as they set up the screen. Pressure disrupts it. Finds the turf for 2nd and 10 as once again we bring the pressure, forces the roll, and there is Cooper. Picks up the 3rd sack of the game. One more of those and maybe we knock him out of field goal range, but it is 3rd and 19. As they fling it to the outside, Ramos gets slipped, and it's instead a lead for the Pandas. Going for it there on 4th ends up being costly. Honestly, just as costly as the poor tackling. Romaine gives the Pandas the lead. And with 42 seconds left here in the half, well, Stanford better do something here to keep their home crowd involved, as being down to the Pandas here is probably not all too good for their momentum, as they will slide down with a nice gain. Daniels ends up scrambling, getting us up inside or past the 40. So that clock is rolling. We do have some timeouts as he rolls to the right-hand side yet again. Eventually, we'll miss Bachmeier. Looks like he was imagining at least he was going to go a little bit more to the sideline. 27 seconds now as we set up the tight end screen. Use that burst of speed from Johnson. Gets out of bounds with a 3rd and 1. Honestly, even converting these short down and distances hasn't been that easy against the Pandas. Daniels making a change at the line. They bring a blitz as there goes Irvin with a 1st down rush. Timeout called, 16 seconds. They're at the 40, and obviously we've had issues with the kicking game, so don't expect them to really try to settle for a field goal. Bachmeier will take the quick screen for a gain of 6. Again, Stanford doesn't really have the down the field target. They've got a lot of gadget receivers. They got to try to figure out how to open up that passing game, as Daniels will look to scramble to minimize the loss. It's a loss of 1, second timeout called. With only 7 seconds left, you're looking at a quick shot towards the end zone here. Expect all the receivers to go downfield as it's looking out for Johnson. Back of the end zone, too far back of the end zone. Couldn't get that foot down in bounds. And indeed it is Chicolo heading on out. He missed all of his chances last week, and he's pushing this one to the right. And honestly, not sure he had the power for it either. Shocking scoreline here at halftime, 10-7. Somehow the Pandas are up despite having far less yards than the Cardinal. Turnovers have been a problem for Daniels, 2 on the day. Defense for the Cardinal doing mostly well. They've just given up, as we saw last week, a couple big plays. Poor tackling, really the difference on this Romaine slip and score. Good news though for the Cardinal fan here at Palo Alto as their team starts off with possession. As it is Bartow out there, again just a 1. So far these running lanes just not opening up as they expected. With a throw to the side, Bachmeier gets the catch, but it's crashed on quickly. Longway gets the tackle, and already a 3rd and 9 here. Daniels in pistol, hard count, no one jumps. They've tried that a few times, haven't got anyone to move. He's got speed to try to extend the play as it's downfield for Noah. It is tipped away, and it's an immediate 3 and out. In a game where they were supposed to be testing things out for their offense, instead they've just fallen flat entirely. Starting with a run here as the Pandas pick up about 1 or 2. Leonard Gill injured. It's a second offensive lineman for him who's had to exit the game. 2nd and 8 as they go with a little bit of some play action. Pressure coming around, but instead scrambling and sliding with a short gain. Wingate Wilson showing a little bit of versatility, something we didn't see in that first half. 3rd and 6. Stanford Cardinal got to get off the field here, as they will look to pass the ball. It's a sack from Cooper. 2 for him. I think only 1, maybe 1.5 from Tafiti. But we will get off the field. But I think right now, the Cardinal offense just has to get back to basics. Find out how to run the ball. Against this foe, you should be able to, as Irvin slips a couple tackles, makes it a gain of 9. We need to see a whole lot more of that. Sticking with the same look, 2nd and 1. Bachmeier will slide on over as they bring the blitz. Float it out for Bachmeier, who will get the catch and get him past the 40. They might just have to use a lot more motion from their receivers, try to open things up a little bit. Play action, Daniels. No one quite open downfield as he rolls back to the right-hand side. He's waiting for things to develop and eventually throws another pick. After waiting all that time, maybe just throw it away. Instead, honestly, he might be giving maybe Miles Jackson an opportunity at quarterback today. As they go with a play action, trying to get to the outside, but it's a tandem sack, Keanu and Tafiti. The defense has shown up today. Unfortunately, the offense seemingly has not. So we might need a defensive score or 2 in this one. Tafiti back again. Tackle at the line. He really is the true leader of this defense. 3rd and 19. They go with a draw, and he will get by Tafiti, but not by the linebackers. And indeed, as expected, it is Miles Jackson coming on out here for the Stanford offense. Bartow as well. He'll take the handoff, and we'll pick up about a gain of 6. There's another injury out on the field. All these guys dropping down the middle, you'd expect that the offensive line is hitting hard. We just haven't been able to consistently open up these lanes as Bartow stuffed. Those are the kind of plays we cannot afford, especially, again, against this caliber of team. Our offensive line is better than that. 3rd and 5, and barely able to get that one away. Not sure why Jackson held on to it that long, but the offense is staying out there. As it's a hard count, no one jumps. They will look to throw, and they do not have the first. Harris drops it. It's a turnover on downs. Panda offense right back on out. For some reason, our offense just cannot move. as they start with a running game. Tafiti will track him down from behind. He's trying to find his second straight Player of the Week award. And honestly, he very well might be finding that. With a screen pass to the receiver, good stop, Morris. He's starting at the slot corner spot. He picked up a lot of tackles in week 0. 3rd and 7. As they go with a delayed fake and then bouncing to the outside, Wingate Wilson denied the first as yet another offensive lineman injured. They will trot out their kicking unit. They already hit one from a good distance earlier. This one a little bit closer. To put them up by 6, he barely squeaks it in. Still a much better kicker than what we've done. And it makes it really where we need a touchdown. That would just be a 1-point lead. Expected a lot more from the offense coming into this one, as it's a pass downfield and tipped away from Bachmeier. Now Jackson showed that he had slight better accuracy during the off-season training. However, he just doesn't have that mobility, and maybe it's a little bit of that mobility this team needs, as he does find Bachmeier this time with another 3rd and 5 that they could not convert last drive. This time at the 30. As Borden shifts down, they'll snap it, and they will go Borden's way on the quick stop. They'll try to truck him. Truck's a little bit early, but he will send us into the 4th quarter, and this was not the game we were hoping for. Needing to find a comeback win here. As Jackson's gonna roll, eventually he throws it and it gets picked off. We've just had, 6, 7 interceptions, and this one's gonna be a pick 6. The Pandas are well in front, 2-score advantage in the 4th. And our offense hasn't been able to move the ball since, the first or second drive of the game? They'll be going for 2 here, and they will get it as the linebackers collide and knock each other out of the way. With the game slipping away here, Ashton Daniels comes back in at quarterback. Again, just provides maybe a little bit more mobility that the team needs. As they look downfield and finding Borden this time. It's been those tight contested passes have been intercepted a lot today. Daniels tried it yet again. I guess they don't know the definition of insanity. As they bring the blitz, flip it out quickly here. CJ Draft will turn up and pick up a decent little bit. Galloway shaken up. And honestly, all these injuries might help us out a little bit as free timeout. 2nd and 4. Continuing with a little bit more play action. Though stepping up and then throwing towards the sideline. Borden down to the 20. Where have those plays been all game? Could have used that much earlier on, waiting until late to try to get things going. As Irvin takes the handoff, he picks up 3. I think they maybe just tried to test things out a little too much in this one. Put themselves in a bad spot here late on. As it's a sack from the blind side, he ends up getting sandwiched. And it's a 3rd and 12. They'll expect to go for 2 here late on. As they set up the screen, no, it's another sack. This line has not been able to handle FCS Southeast. 3rd or 4th even, and 20. Coming across, Borden drops it. A drive that was finally looking promising ends yet again in another turnover on downs. 5 minutes left in this game. We need a defensive score. We need something here besides just the stops the defense have regularly provided. It's just been the offense providing too many great opportunities for the Pandas. It's been really bad for the offense in this one. Defense has played a game you expect to win. But a turnover would definitely help us out, especially a pick 6. Honestly, I'd take a scoop and score here. As it's instead a sack. They do count it as a sack. Ume and Cooper. The time is running out. 3:33. And we need multiple scores from the offense. Finding Johnson here. He had some good plays earlier in the game. Perhaps they'll look his way a little bit more here late on. And trying to keep that clock stopped as well would probably be pretty big, as they will eventually flick this one out. Couldn't find Noah. Perhaps Daniels should have just took and run that. 3:23, 2nd and 10. Hard count, no one jumps. They only rush 4, and throwing it out of a sack. It's just happening way too often. The pressure has been horrible. 3rd and 10. Got to find a first down here. Finding the quick curl gets the first down to Bachmeier. And they're going to get right back to it. Again, they need 2 touchdowns just to tie here. Went into overtime last week. I'm sure they don't want to go back to it as they do go back to Bachmeier. And with Galloway going down again, it is a free timeout for us. Just over 3 minutes left. A little bit of some play action here. Daniels having to roll yet again. He will find the check down. No, he won't. Had a lot of drops in this game as well. Another one there for Borden. 2nd and 10. Daniels with a blitz. Throwing it out of a sack. Just need a little bit more time up front. Haven't found it. Under 3 minutes now. As they bring the pressure. They hit home again. There's just been nothing the Cardinal offense can do about this Panda defense. Looking like one of the best that we will ever see. It is out to Noah, who slips one, but can't find the first. It's another turnover on downs. Outside of 1 offensive drive. FCS Southeast Pandas have blanked our offense. There's a good stop there from Parker. Probably a little bit too late. 2-minute warning hits. We could use with a sack, fumble, scoop, and score, but they hand this one off and nearly break it to the outside. Well, under a minute and a half left. It's 3rd and 14. First down here would seal the deal, and they've got an angle, though a great stop there from Wright. Timeout called. Can we see a miracle here late? But it seems like if it's going to be a miracle, it's with a 3rd quarterback as Elijah Brown comes on out. He's got the best arm on the team. As he's looking down here for Bachmeier, it's tipped away. And no one, in terms of receivers on this team, a true deep threat, but someone's got to emerge here. As they go to the outside, tipped away from Borden. This defense for the Pandas has been just fantastic. 3rd and 10. Elijah Brown making some changes. As he goes to the outside, he finds Bachmeier, who does stay in bounds, getting him down to the red zone. That ball barely got there in time, but that's where the arm strength of Brown can very much help out. As they send out Irvin here. And stepping up and taking a sack timeout call. We might need to take a second look at this offensive line to try to balance some things out. The pass rush has been intense, but an easy shot down the middle. We finally find a touchdown here, a little bit too late. Noah Short with 37 seconds puts us a touchdown behind the Pandas. It's essentially coming down to this, an onside kick. Flintoff put a good bounce on it, but it goes straight to Parrish, and that is game. We lose week 2 to FCS Southeast. The Pandas defense was phenomenal in this game. Or maybe it was just that our offense was truly horrific. They couldn't get anything going. A heck of a game here from Andrew Fulmer. They just capitalized on every opportunity we gave them, and I'm sure after this, we're not going to have a packed stadium. But at least one consultation is now Ernest Cooper as the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week. And that's just strictly a game that we cannot have. I definitely wanted to try out some different passing things with the team, try to figure out where we could actually work well with that, because our first game against Hawaii, the passing game was not very good. It was worse against FCS Southeast. Daniels did not have a good game. Some of those were, just like trying to put things out, see if we could hit them. But then some were, it looked like it should have been a completed pass and it just wasn't put in a good spot. Great play made from the defender, but definitely was not good. And we didn't learn anything positive about the passing game. The running game, we couldn't get that going either. I mean, they said that they nerfed the FCS schools, but wow, was their front seven dominant. Irvin still had 4 yards a carry. We didn't really even get Bartow out there much. He had 3 carries, but 1.7 yards. It just was not good from the offensive line. Bachmeier somehow still goes over 100 receiving. We just don't have any medium and deep targets. Everything seems like it has to be short, quick, and even sometimes a short, quick passing game. No one gets open. It's got to be gadgets like RPOs or swinging it out to them on technically another kind of screen. But yeah, we didn't learn much. Short made a good play there late on, but we've got to figure out that passing game for sure. Green had 9 pancakes, so like we're getting some good blocks, but at the same time the pass blocking is pretty rough. Defensively, Rose had the most amount of tackles with 8. TFL leader goes to Tafiti, Keanu, and Ernest Cooper. So the 3 highest rated guys here for our defensive line, they showed up. And again, defense played a winning game. Cooper was the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week. We had a lot of sacks in this game. We just could have used some turnovers to try to even out the amount of turnovers from the offense. Kicking was still horrific. The 1 attempt we had, was not good. So gotta figure that out. We can't keep leaving points on the board and wasting possessions on offense. As for a little bit of some good news, recruiting, surprisingly, after that last game, is still going pretty well. We are top here for 2 of the 3 of our receivers. Jalen Brackel just switched, giving Washington actually the advantage, but I believe we just hit the top 5 thing here. So we're putting it in here for the hard sell. It's just not a good sell. The things that he cares about most just really doesn't quite align. Coach stability is definitely not good right now, but get some wins in and that'll go up. Tight end wise, we are in top for both of these guys. So we got a vertical threat and a possession. In terms of offensive line, again, doing very well in recruiting, top for all of our options. And then for all of our defensive linemen, we are in top here for Lee Church with Jack State coming in. And then outside linebacker wise, again, we are on top of all these, some closer, but we're getting a lot of top 5s, which is great. And then we did jump in front of Oregon here for Lamont East, that man corner that I was really wanting to get in. And plus, on top of that, of us getting into the top 5, putting the hard sell on him, we also have scheduled a visit for week 6. Most of our home games are in the second half of the year, so if we can get some of these guys in earlier, that's going to help us out a lot. But next time, we need to bounce back big, and that's got to be against a technical rival here for us in San Jose State. If we do not do good again this year, we get relegated. Well, we'll be playing against San Jose State in the same conference. I prefer that not to be the case. I prefer for us to stay up. So we got to get some wins going. We got to beat our rival. We finished off with a really good game against them in Season 1. I'd like to get Season 2 back on track with another dub. So make sure you stick around, hit that bell icon on the bottom right, or scroll down, hit the sub button, and definitely tap that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Madden 25, Tuesday, Thursday for the States Only Challenge. And we will not be playing the same style game we played today next time, back at home against the Spartans.